Saudi Arabia has arranged an international-level meeting to find a peaceful solution to end the Ukraine-Russia war. Well, it's because China has put its hand on Saudi Arabia's shoulder to add more countries to a real alliance led by China. For over 1.5 years since the start of the Ukraine-Russia war, the US has only done politics, worsening the war. In that, it pushed Ukraine to fight and get its troops killed. At the same time, it earned profits from selling weapons and LNG to Europe. You see, it just filled its pocket instead of solving the crisis. But now, China is taking responsibility and has attended the talks to end the Ukraine-Russia war. On that, Ukraine has called it a historic victory, silently announcing that it considers the US worthless. So what is China doing to end the Ukraine-Russia war? Welcome back to another exciting episode of our channel. Innovation Diary brings you China's innovation stories, projects, and growing influence in different parts of the world. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about fast-paced modernity, especially China's development and growing power, you will definitely find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will explain how China has joined Saudi Arabia to find a solution to the Ukraine war, kicking the US out of the whole discussion. Let's get started. China has been actively taking part in important discussions about peace in Ukraine, which were hosted by Saudi Arabia. This has caught the attention of the stakeholders involved and made them hopeful. It's because until now, the US has been exploiting the crisis instead of solving it. Even though the Western countries want to be led by the US, they mistrust its role when it comes to solving conflicts, especially those which bring benefits, often called profits of wars. However, when China decides to be a part of a peacemaking process, it ensures no one is abused and there is no artificial lingering of the conflict. Now, China's recent move toward facilitating peace in Ukraine shows that it's serious about using diplomatic efforts to help stop the conflict through peaceful talks. These discussions happened after important officials from about 30 countries met in Saudi Arabia over the weekend. There was a 2-day meeting in Jeddah, which was the second time this kind of meeting happened. The first one was in Copenhagen earlier this summer, which did not bring any fruit. It's because in those talks, the US was the leading member, and it ensured the matter did not end at peace. Yes, that's the irony. It was invited to bring peace, but it did the opposite. Wiped away all possibilities of the end of the conflict. Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has made a detailed 10-point plan to solve the conflict, but they were not paid any attention to in those talks. However, now, as China is the leading member in peace talks, he is optimistic. He hopes these talks will lead to a peace summit in the fall, where leaders from around the world will agree with and support these basic ideas. The talks led to an agreement to create special groups that will work on the details of Zelensky's plan. These groups will focus on things like making sure there's enough food, keeping nuclear power safe, taking care of the environment, helping people in need, letting prisoners of war go free, and rescuing kidnapped children. What these groups find out will help leaders have more discussions. At the same time, different groups of ambassadors will keep talking about technical details in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. The main goal of all these talks is to get ready for a grand meeting with the leaders of countries. It's because first, China wants to have all essential details about the conflict to evaluate what should be done. All reports will likely be gathered immediately, and the grand meeting will be held later this year. Saudi Arabia wants to help both sides of the conflict and become a middleman. Some experts say that Saudi Arabia is not arranging these peace talks on its own. If it had wanted to, it would have done that already. But soon after China assisted in brokering a peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran, the ingredients for a peace deal in Ukraine came along. Saudi Arabia was backed by China to initiate the peace talk where China will handle the next actions. China could do that alone, but it wants everyone to come closer to create an air of inclusivity. Hence, the talks also had representatives from other countries like Brazil, India, South Africa, Indonesia, Mexico, Zambia, and Egypt. Even though China didn't attend a previous meeting about Ukraine and Denmark, its presence at the summit in Saudi Arabia is seen as a good sign by Ukraine and Saudi Arabia. This shows that China is ready to talk about important issues that can make the world more stable and resolve conflicts. Don't forget that the US has always wanted to have this position, but, well, as it is always sabotaged matters whenever it got the chance. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. China joining these talks is a way of saying that it wants to find a peaceful answer to the war that's still happening. Not only that, but this is also given the notion that from now on, China will be acting like a father figure and resolving conflicts going on in the West. China is willing to hear ideas that can lead to a peaceful solution. This fits with China's bigger plans to be helpful in world affairs and be a positive part of international discussions. But won't Russia feel angry at this? Well, no, if things are done right. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov talked on the phone and discussed what should be done. This proves that China is committed to using diplomacy to find solutions without making any side feel hostile. China's friendship with Russia is still strong, even when they are engaging in different diplomatic operations. For example, they recently did a naval exercise together in the Bering Sea. This shows that their partnership is going well and that they are still working together. China wants to lead and influence in the changing world, and this summit is a way to do that. China's involvement with the Global South, which means countries in the Middle East, Africa, South America, and Asia, shows that it's building partnerships beyond its usual friends. Hence, the US is being pushed out, which is inevitable. Vladimir Putin, the grandmaster of global chess, is also appreciating China's stance. Putin, with a sly grin and a knowing nod, suggests that China's peace plan could be the golden key to ending the Ukrainian drama. But he said that the West itself does not want to solve the conflict. The West wants to bring out solutions and get them implemented without asking Russia. And that will never happen, Putin ensures. The conflict can be only solved if the Western players understand what Russia wants. And China knows that. Since it's a superpower in diplomacy, it understands how the involved countries should be treated and coaxed to cooperate. They can never be forced to accept terms, as this will further worsen the war. China will be following a subtle strategy where instead of straightforwardly asking Russia to leave Ukraine, it will follow a series of points. This suggests asking for peace plans from Ukraine, the West, and Russia too. Nobody's plan will be implemented without any changes. Rather, all strategies should be discussed and all parties should be allowed to be flexible. It's also possible that China will ask the West not to act like a party to the conflict. In other words, China will demand from the West to leave Ukraine alone in deciding what it should ask. Ukraine should not be dictated by the West, otherwise this will make the matter worse. Putin demands the same as says the West, and Kyiv need to be ready for his plan. And China wants to ensure that no plan is anti-Russia or anti-Ukraine at the same time. China won't accept how the West sees Russia. Rather, it will act as neutral and see both sides as equal. China's unique position allows it to bridge the gap between the opposing sides, potentially seeking common ground with Russia and other countries to secure an early ceasefire. However, the Russian Foreign Ministry criticized the conference as an attempt to form an anti-Russian coalition, but China won't allow that to happen. China's role here is strategic. By participating, China could enhance its reputation as a global mediator, strengthening relationships with European nations and solidifying its position in the Middle East and among other developing nations. Now it seems that China will actually be solving the Ukraine war issue, sitting on the chair of the global peacemaker. At the same time, the US will have two options. It could either wait to be kicked out of the global camp, or it can itself walk out. We would like to take a moment to appreciate you all for commenting and sharing your opinions. Your insights always impress us. Now tell us, isn't it true that the US's evil intentions have been exposed? If it wanted, it could facilitate ending the war. Let us know your take on how China can play its role in this. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.